So now the next issue is part 2, and we're going to, let's make it a bit thicker. Okay, and we're going to look at this. So basically, to make sure it's some convergent, we know it's an alternating series. We've got this part here. Now the problem is we've got to show that un tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Okay, I'm going to change this because it doesn't look like that's what you want. Okay, make it slightly thinner. So un tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. So let's look at un. Un is equal to n plus 1 pi n pi sine t over t dt. Now the real thing here is that this integral sine t over t dt is less than this integral n plus 1 pi n pi 1 over t dt. Because sine t can never be greater than 1, right? So, and that means, well, or less than negative. What so that means it's always bounded by this integral. Okay, so we need to work this out. Well, this integral equals ln t between n plus 1 pi and n pi, which equals ln of n plus 1 pi minus ln of n pi, which equals ln of, well, it's n plus 1 over n pi. Now if we think about the limit as n tends to infinity of ln n plus 1 over n pi, it's tending towards the limit of, sorry, the pi's cancel, right? So there's no pi there. So there's a pi on both top and bottom, so the pi's on there. So n plus 1 over n tends towards 1 as n tends to infinity, which itself ln of 1, which equals, what's ln of 1? Well, it equals 0. So I'm showing that un as n tends to infinity is tending to 0. So I've got two conditions. I've got my first condition, it's alternating, and also un is tending to 0. That allows me to then solve that, to show that it converges. Okay, just think about what's gone on there. Very briefly on this one, basically on this one we've got to look at values. Okay, so look at S4, look at S5, look at S6, look at S100. Just look at a few examples as we go along, and what you'll see is that never, apart from S1, but that's too early in the piece, as we get further and further down the sequence, is obviously the biggest number we get is 1.65. So basically you do it on your calculator. Okay? Any questions on that, I'll follow up with you. All right, so I'll share the mark scheme soon. Hopefully this will help you make sense of what's in the mark scheme. Okay, bye.